Hey, what's going on, everybody? ScottDogGaming here. Thank you very much for joining us. As you can see, we're about to start playing some Football Manager. Now, it has been a little while since I've played Football Manager. I've tried a couple of times this year, actually, or over the year that Football Manager has been released, to try and produce some videos on it. I've struggled both times, just simply because it's not as much fun as I remember, or it wasn't. But I thought I'd give this a go, and I thought I'd maybe add a little something to it. So, you know me, I tend to pick unusual teams for whatever reason. Today, I've decided to choose Ipswich. Now, the reason for this is because this is where I'm from. I'm a Liverpool fan. Yes, I'm a glory hunter, which has failed to find glory for the last 10 years or so. But I am from Ipswich. I know the club reasonably well, although I haven't followed the football that they play for maybe the last 5 or so years, just because championship football at times can be really, really bad. Sorry if you are a championship football fan, but you know, it's not great. But I thought I'd give this a go. A couple of reasons. Ipswich have been in the championship for, I think, 16 years. I think they are the longest serving championship club. That means every other club has either been promoted or relegated sort of earlier than them or more recently than them, which is insane, because Ipswich actually, interestingly, it's got a number of things going for it. It owns, from what I understand, it owns a lot of ground in and around Ipswich and has developed fairly good training facilities. It's got a 30,000 seater capacity stadium. It's in close proximity to London, so I would assume that means that you could potentially get loanees from those bigger clubs in London because of how close they are. The problem is, in Mick McCarthy, they've got a manager who plays a certain style of football, and it works in the Championship to a point. They've also not had a huge amount of funds. A lot of the players they've had over the last 10 years or so have sort of been loanees. At the end of each season, there's a big turnaround of players. It's just it's a bit of a shambles in what it is. And I thought, you know what? Let's give this a go. Let's see how we do. So Ipswich Town, our goal is to get them promoted, or at least get them out of the Championship. So that might be relegated, but that's the plan. So let's have a little look. We are Andrew Banning taking charge of Ipswich. We're delighted to be in the role of the Tractor Boys. Now let's have a little look at what they've got to say to us. So I'd like to formally introduce you to Ipswich Town. The board would like to assure you that you can rely on their full backing. Your terms of your contract have been given till June 2018, worth 12 grand a week. Director Dave Bowman is responsible for offloading either permanently or on loan, and as unwanted any players you place on the development list, and staff members from the previous regime have been retained. Now, I don't know whether I want to keep them or not. I'm going to be honest. I'm guessing some of the way that Ipswich Town play football is down to that batch of coaches that Mick McCarthy brought in, and I'd like to try and change it to a more football-orientated football club, if that makes sense, rather than, you know, sometimes Mick McCarthy is one of those managers where if you are in a pickle, I think he can do a fantastic job for you. But once you get out of that and you find some stability, I'm not sure he's the man. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. So we've got some philosophy where we want to develop some youth players, which we'll always look to do anyway. Okay. Is there some options down here? We can attend this meeting, which we'll do. Great. This is always the same, and this is always the worst part of Football Manager. So we'll just say we're happy. Sounds like a great idea. I'd love to learn more about the club. Do we want to add any more changes? No, we don't. Yes, I think it'd be great to meet some journalists. I look for a long and successful career. I'm now meeting Terry Connor. Would I like to arrange an inter-squad friendly? No thanks. I've never really seen the point of that, because, you know, you're going to put your first team players against your second team players, and hopefully your first team players win. You're not going to learn a huge amount from one game, but we will have the report. And it would be great to meet the backroom staff. Thanks for your help, Terry, not your health, although thanks for your help as well. We're done with the meetings. Lovely. Let's have a little look. Transfer. So we've got Iorfa in on loan. Callum Connolly from Everton, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Selena from Man City, and then we've got Danny Rose out at Lincoln City and Emmanuel out at Rotherham. Injury updates, we've got Teddy Bishop, who a few years back burst onto the scene as a high, maybe a couple of seasons ago, as a hot prospect. Don't know how hot his prospects are anymore. So maybe, look, 2014 it was, where he played 33 games for the club, and then since then hasn't really featured a huge amount. So be interesting to know what happened there. Who else? This fella, Hughes, Hughes, and David McGoldrick, torn hamstring. Might be time to get McGoldrick out of the club. Okay, let's have a look at the background. Founded in 1878, Ipswich Town, a professional football club in England, and club presently playing in the Sky Bet Championship. Ipswich Town finished 16th last season. The club in their home grounds at Portman Road possess great training facilities and great youth facilities. Club's training grounds at Playford Road. The Ipswich Town youth team play at Playford Road. As I say, they've got quite a lot of good facilities set up. And they're going to be playing their rivalry against Norwich. The club enjoyed probably the best spell in the 1960s, although now enduring a 25-barren-year spell, not won a competition since 1992. The history of which was just proud. Ipswich Town won the top division for only time in 1962. Also won the Europa League in 1981 and the FA Cup in 1978. So that's what we look like, and that's what we've done. We've got a report. We've got Bilikowski, who is actually, from what I've seen, although as I said I haven't seen a huge amount over the last couple of years, he does look like a good goalkeeper. I'm not going to lie, he looks fairly solid for what he does. Number of talented prospects, work rate is really hard, and that's something that Mick McCarthy will give you. Will give you a hard-working basis of a team. Whether the fitness levels are quite there, I don't know. They look disciplined. That's what I'd say. But do they don't maybe look quite organised enough or fit enough to play a different style of football. Luke Chambers is one of 6 good options. Superb in goal. What have we got over here? Transfer budget 250k. We lack depth at left back. Not a great deal of strength in the squad. Squad lacks decision making, which is interesting, and there is a gap for a leader. We've got 8.5k or so to bring in some wages. To bring in some players. Recruitment team 4 members, some unassigned. We've got some preferences on the scouting. The scouting in the new game is a bit of an odd one. We'll see how this goes. But let's just go and have a little look at our squad then, and we'll see what we think is a good way to play. I mean, I tend to go with something fairly standard in my Football Manager games, and I'll probably do the same again. It will probably be something like this, I think. Let's have a little look. This is quite an attacking formation, but can we bring in one of my old save ones? Very, very similar. All it's done is change this player to an attacking playmaker, and I think one of these to a deep-lying playmaker. But this is what I was using at Billericay Town. I played a little bit as Billericay Town, just with the lower leagues, just to see what the mod, that's the word, was like, and it worked all right. I'm not going to lie, but I just thought we'd do something a bit different, and I can add a bit of insight into this because I know a bit about it. That's the reason for it. Let's have a look at our dynamics. Slightly disappointing at the moment. Slight impact on player positions during matches. We currently have no unhappy players. This is quite interesting to me. Who have we got as team leaders? So Scouse, Chambers and Hyam. And then we've got McGoldrick as a highly influential player. Well, we were talking about getting rid of him. And then we've got Knudsen, Spence and so on and so forth. So, and then we've got players that we can get shot of. Let's just have a little look at our value here. So we have got some players worth money. Interestingly, people are interested in McGoldrick, Aston Villa, Sunderland and Wolves, all interested. You know what, I would be tempted to let him go. He's only 29, but he is quite injury prone from what I know of old Mr. McGoldrick. Where do I find history? That would be the one. And injuries. So major injuries over the last 10 years. They've kept him out for 3 months at a time. That's, after from 2010 to 2016, that's a fair chunk of the season that he has missed through injury. I know for a fact that he will score goals, but I also know that he may not be there. And for £5 million, if we could bring that in, we might be able to find something better than that. But let's stick with what we've got for now. I'm going to go shopping for some freebies anyway, so we will see what we find. What about you? Newcastle are interested in Teddy Bishop. Fair enough. Kevin Brew, I would imagine he can go on a fairly cheap deal, if not a free deal, would be my guess. A lot of these players tend to come to the end of their contracts with Ipswich and then disappear. So we'll keep an eye on him. Andre Dazelle is another youth player, son of Jason Dazelle, I believe, who played for Ipswich in the 90s. He was a good midfielder, and looks like his son. I'm guessing it's his son. Again, it could be someone else just with the same surname, but I would assume it is a relative, certainly. And looks like not a bad little midfielder, actually. He's interested. People are interested in him. Who are they? Aberdeen, Luton and Portsmouth all looking for loanees, so that might not be a bad deal. So that's not a bad little squad, I don't think, although we haven't really looked at a huge amount into it. I am going to go away and do some work on this, find some areas, and I know we said left backs we're looking to strengthen. We have got Knudsen here, but I wonder if that's the whole depth of our left backs. Let's have a little look. Callum Connolly, so we've got him on loan, and he can play there, but he's a right back at first choice. But I don't know if that means we need to go and, he is our worst player, Knudsen, from the looks of things. Although Waghorn out here on the wing. If we were to get rid of we're still looking to play Waghorn, whereas I think he probably prefers to be a striker, and he's not a bad striker. We've got possibly some issues here depending on where we start playing people. Selena wants to play on the wing, so I think maybe if we're going to play, let's have a look. I think maybe an attacking midfielder is what we're looking for, because we can play Garner up top, and he is a good little player there. McGoldrick, I'm not sure he's a defensive midfielder, attacking midfielder. I'm not sure his passing's not bad. Maybe we could turn him into a midfielder role. It's not horrendous. Certainly not horrendous. But for £5 million, again, if we could get that kind of money for him, we might be able to bring in someone slightly better than that. Anyway, let's have a little look. What else do we need? We've got the board here. They're going to tell us what they expect us to do. I don't think we've had that news just yet. I don't think they've told us where they're expecting us to finish. Maybe they are. Maybe they did and I missed it. But I'm aiming for playoffs, I think, would be my goal. But I guess we will find out soon enough. I'm going to put a cut in here, and we will be back soon with... I guess we're going to skip the friendlies, and maybe we'll go straight to the first game. Okay, so we are back. We're back playing our Football Manager game. We're back as Ipswich now. We've finished pre-season. It's been interesting, and I hope this isn't a sign of things to come. Or maybe I do. I'll explain what I mean by that. First off, we had a fantastic pre-season based on results. We beat Hibs at home. We got a number of wins with clean sheets against weaker opposition, granted, but we did okay. Our first game is against Birmingham at home, which is always a tough game. Birmingham are a team that that should be there or thereabouts each year with getting promoted. Maybe we should be one of those clubs bouncing between the Championship and the Premier League. However, what I would say is we had some issues with injuries, and unfortunately every single one of those injuries came to one of our big players. So we lost Bilikowski, we lost Waghorn, who's out for another 2 weeks. We lost Sears, who's out for 2 weeks, and Selena, who's out for up to 7 weeks. And they are first choice players who play in our team and did very well in the friendlies. So that's a bit of a kick in the balls, as you can see here. Pretty much all of them. Sears generally comes into one of these two positions. As you can see, pretty much all of them were starting in our team or were replacing one of these players. So the fact that we've had to go and swap these two players out for reserves means that we are considerably weakened, which is bad news. There's no other way of looking at it. It is bad news. A couple of things we went and did also. We signed some new scouts and some new coaches, so hopefully we've got that in a better position. I couldn't find any players that I thought were going to improve us, so I haven't spent any of that money yet. I've spent more money on sending our scouts out to try and find people, actually, rather than anything else. So I'm going to clear all these. As you can see, we've got a few scouting assignments going on as we wait, and we've had a few players go out and be scouted. But I need this list to grow a little bit more, really, to help us. And we'll have a look at that just before the window starts closed. We're in early August, so we've got a bit of time. And it gives us a chance to actually look where we need strengthen. Now, I wouldn't have said the wingers are anywhere where we need to strengthen just yet. However, with what's just happened, maybe the wingers are exactly where we need to strengthen. One thing I probably do need to do is pull up one of these goalkeepers to the squad. And I guess it's going to be you. So let's get you added to the senior squad. We've got to respond to this. We'll hand this over to the assistant manager. We'll do a lot of that. You'll notice that I don't tend to do too much in terms of actually, interestingly, team picking. I let the assistant do that, generally because they tend to, they know what the condition of players are better than me, and it just means that I can then have a look over it rather than have to go through and pick team. If I make changes, I make changes. That tends to be how I do things. Tactics, I tend to stick with one. I don't tend to chop and change unless it's not working. So if you've watched any of my previous series before, you'll notice that it tends to be a fairly standard thing for me. We've got a couple of fitness tests. Both look like they're going to make it. Okay, what's next? Team selection. So let's pick. We have got the goalie on the bench. Doesn't look like we're going to do much better than what we've got here. And Dazelle is not a winger, but look at our bench. This is a worry. Our whole bench is just made up of defenders and defensive midfielders, which is not good. Guess we're going to make that change. Are you any better out here, Bishop? Let's give Dazelle a chance. Let's try him. What have we got to lose? We've got a difficult choice here. As I say, a lot of our first choice players are out. I mean, I don't even think we'd be playing Ward in this position. I think generally he would be in the centre mid. So, it's not ideal. I have to give someone a number, so you can have number 31. Congratulations, buddy. We're going to play in the 2D style menu. Actually, it's something that I don't tend to do, but I wanted early on just to get an overview of the way the game is going to go. And how the layout is. So that was the plan with that. So let's get started on that front. Let's go to the dressing room. I've asked my assistant to take the team talks, which is done, which is fine. So let's end that and let's go to the kickoff, and off we go. So I think there's some stats that we want to bring up. Is it match information? Probably not. Match overview? No, not that one either. What one is it? Match report? Is that it? No, not that either. I can never remember which one it is. We'll have this over here though. I'm not paying any attention to what's going on just yet. Here they come. Ball into the middle, and it's a goal straight off the bat. 1 minute 46 seconds in, and we are already down a goal. And then we'll see the goals in Poor down the left there. Big gap in the middle of the park. Gherkin got a hand to it and should have done more. Not great. Not great at all. Let's get back to this. And once I've got this sorted out, I'll be happy. Can I reduce? Oh, come on. Can I reduce this? I can. Beautiful. Can I extend that down there as well? Okay, here they come again. Ward picks it up. It's not started well. I'm not going to lie. We haven't. Well, possession is fairly even. I'm not going to begrudge that. But Knudsen, ooh, good save by the keeps, and it didn't even get a corner from it. Slightly disappointing start, but 20 minutes in, we can come back. There's a lot coming down our left-hand side. Looks like it's evening out slowly now, but it's the ball across. We're not getting there. Knudsen's going to go and pick this up then. There's a lot of talk of people being interested in McGoldrick, mainly Aston Villa, who I think I saw their wage budget. It's insane. I know they've just come down, and they've got players like John Terry and that who are obviously on a lot of money, but it is absolutely monumental for how much money they're actually paying out. It puts our wage budget to shame. we're reaching half an hour in. McGoldrick, poor free kick. It's not looking great. I'm not gonna lie. We've not been very composed when we've had the ball. Zell couldn't get there, and again, it's not going out for a set piece to us, which is disappointing. Gherkin out to Webster. And again, I didn't watch any of the friendlies, which is possibly a mistake. Normally I watch a few or take charge of a few just to read between the lines as to what's going on. McGoldrick should have done better there, just so I can see where I think things are going well and things are going bad. I didn't do that. Get in, Webster. Nice little near post or far post header and a flick on in the middle there. It looked like it was a little fortunate, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, the header from Garner I think was a goal, but two men unmarked at the back post there pretty much, and we're back on level terms just before half time. That is not a bad time to score. Okay, so let's go into the dressing room. Give the fans something to cheer. No particular reaction, which is fair enough. We're not doing a great deal at this moment in time. Analysis. What have we got? A lot of their stuff seems to be coming through this area of the park, actually, down this side. What is this telling me, really? Come on. What is this? What is this? No thanks, I'm okay on that one, cheers. This is interesting, this is the first time I played this game with a data analyst, and I'm guessing this is what they tell you, which is fair enough. Let's just start the second half. I'm not overly concerned by what's happening. Let's just get underway. Just trying to make sense of some of these stats here. None of them really spring to mind, as in we've got problems. A poor ball by Dazelle, not finding the striker. There is Dazelle. There's McGoldrick, and there's Garner. McGoldrick to Ward. Ward, oh, good save by the keeps. I don't know if there's any other stats that we can bring up that might help us here. The focus of attack is quite nice. I don't know if we need this. Decent number of shots. Well, we're not connecting to him. Our passes have been their fair share of tackles. We're misplacing too many long passes. So that might be an area where we want to have a think about the way we're moving the ball. But again, tactics seem to work in the friendlies. Let's stick with it for now. And then we'll think about making some changes as we get a little bit deeper into this game. But I want to give them their fair share of getting out there. Again, it's difficult to judge now. Garner's won it back. Garner shoots over the bar. It's difficult to judge now based on the fact that this is not our first choice team. This is somewhere off it. Let's make some changes. So Dazelle, I know we haven't really got anyone we can replace you with, but let's bring on Teddy Bishop, I think, out there. Who else have we got who could do with some fresh legs? I think we're okay. Let's stick with what we got. Just want to give Teddy, and it's interesting, Teddy Bishop, as I say, he sort of burst onto the scene, and one thing I would say is a lot of Ipswich players get bigged up. I mean, a lot of football players, actually, young football players get a lot of pressure put on their shoulders, get big up early on into being, they're going to be the next, and then you insert famous footballer here, and then it never quite happens. Oh dear. Oh, side net. Teddy Bishop burst on scene. As you saw, 33 games, so it probably indicates where Ipswich were at that point in time, but also how well he was doing. To be getting 33 games 3 or 4 years ago when he was 17, 18, I think, is massive. But then to slip back down, indicates that nothing was really done with that development. It wasn't pushed on. So it's always slightly difficult. So I'd like to give him a chance. We talk about developing youth. I think we've got some good youth players. Garner gets the head to it, not enough to challenge keeper. He just got too far outside that near post, which was the problem. He couldn't quite attack the ball, had to go for a glancing header. You really want to be headering that ball between the posts rather than getting in front of the near post and having to flick it on. Oh dear, terrible marking from the set piece. The flag was up though. That is good news for us because we've not been doing a lot. Let's make a change in the middle here, get some fresh legs on, and I don't really have anything else. Let's bring on Brew in the middle there. Oh, could be a chance. I offer to Ward. Ward running with it. It's got defenders coming across. He looks for Garner. Poor ball, but Knudsen picks it up. There's Hughes. There's McGoldrick. Saved by the keeper. Looks like it's been a fairly even game. I think we've probably created the better chances, but they've not been far behind us in that front. It's been a close one. It's been a fairly even spread of the chances, and the way we played hasn't been too bad. That early goal didn't help. Knudsen, good save by the keeper. Is that Kuchek in goal for them? Okay. There's Ward. There's Brew. Brew with a terrible pass. He hasn't played a lot of football, to be fair to him. Actually, Brew, interestingly, is a player that Ipswich have tried to get rid of a few seasons in a row. But whenever I've seen him, he's always looked all right, actually. Always looked like an okay footballer. There's Hughes, I think his name is. There's Bishop, ball across. Hughes again to Knudsen. And we'll take a 1-1 draw. I didn't talk to you about... oh dear, Knudsen seems motivated. Everybody else looked okay. They're not happy with the performance, apparently. Maybe we should change off that and give us at least a chance to steer him right if we think he's going wrong. Because I didn't think that performance was too bad. It started poorly, did get a little bit better. Let's send the assistant on to that. Yes. What are we looking for from this season? So the board were suggesting a mid-table place. The bookies have put us at 18th out of 24 to get promoted. Gives you an indication of how we're perceived in this league. Haven't been able to bring anyone in to strengthen, so that probably goes to add to that. So we're relying on our tactics and our ability to get the best out of these players for now. I've told the board that I think I can get a top half finish. I've told the players I think I can get a top half finish. That's what we're going to aim for. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please let me know if you want to see more. I don't quite know what format this is going to take. Used to be that we'd do 2 games an episode and see where that went. So maybe we'll start like that, see what happens. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any signings you can think of, any changes to tactics, anything you want to know about the club, then let me know. And we will see you again soon. Thanks very much for watching.